Thank you for coming. And my name is Aaron, so I'll be facilitating the discussion this morning. Hopefully you get warm up. And typically, the style is that I'll be talking first, then after that, there will be forum, panel, discussion, etc. But I will just show you one slide. Then after that, we start discussion to warm up. Right? In the morning, engine need to warm up first. Then hopefully after that, I keep talking, and after that, you guys ready to talk more. Okay. So by the way, the topic is about the CIO as a cultural champion. Right? We're talking about cultural mean as a catalyst to drive change. And then of course, digital disruptor is a very nice name. Can we afford to disrupt others? I don't know. Okay. And enterprise leaders. Yeah. Let's see what's the content. I think I have about maybe 10 of a slide. Yes. Should be okay to finish before 9. Of course, I'm not talking about digital disruption, but I think let's have some discussion. Okay. In your industry, how many of you here immune? My industry is protected for the next 5 years. This disruption cannot come near to my organization. Okay, because we are in the blue ocean. Okay, so this one is, if you are in that category, typically it's one of the three. Okay, are we able to disrupt others? Okay, basically whatever the competitor, you just poke them, right? Nice, right? Tickle them, poke them, they got excited, then you just laugh at them. Okay, or you are in the middle, surviving. Okay, what we call it, firefighting, like being disrupted all the time. Yeah, or you can self-disrupt. You keep looking at yourself. I think I open the discussion to the floor. Any comment? Anyone have gone through this, and how do we overcome this? And because what happened is that if you read, I think 2 weeks ago, the Singapore Monetary Authority of Singapore, because Singapore, you like it or not, is a central financial hub in the Asia, right? 1/3 of their job will disappear. They have done a research and they confirm 1/3 of those people working in the FSI, their job disappear. Who take over them? Machine. Right? So, yes, well, warm up time. Any comment? I think the room like this don't need to have mic. Should be okay. Any comment? What have you done? Where your industry is. Even government, I don't think is immune from this, because they also got another competition among countries, right? And citizen expectation also getting higher and higher. Okay, so yeah, any comment? Yes, please.
I don't think anyone's immune to this, but I do wonder sometimes if some companies that are engaged in disruption of their own are then worried about reprisals.
Okay.
Worried about being targeted for disruption later on. I don't know if anyone in the room has experienced that.
Sure. Yeah, you can also ask question and comment.
Yeah, you know me.
Yes. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tony Chin. I'm from Sumitomo Mitsui Bank here in Kuala Lumpur. I mean, the banking industry is definitely one that is constantly being disrupted by the fintechs. Our ability to disrupt others is really quite limited. We are basically more responding to the disruption and trying to self-disrupt to make our systems more robust and try to stay ahead of the fintech, which are basically eating away the low-hanging fruits of our business. Thank you.
Right. Cool. Anyone else?
Sorry, I just want to come back on that. Is that because of the longevity of the banking industry? It's got a lot of process and procedure behind it. The change can take a long time. Whereas the fintechs can kind of choose which bit of the rules and regulations they want to follow. They're just targeting a particular thing.
Basically, there are a couple of things. That is one of them. The second part basically is that our industry is heavily regulated around the world, and the fintech operators are not. So there is no level playing field, and therefore we have a lot of legacy systems, and we have a lot of hard assets which fintechs don't have. So they are on the lighter business model. So their ROI is a lot better, and they can actually move ahead and disrupt us in a quicker pace.
Right?
Just a comment. I'm Arifin from USM.
You don't need mic?
Yeah, don't need mic.
Okay.
What do you call that? I'm from the education and also healthcare because I work in a university hospital, and we are being more disrupted because before this it was a brick and mortar. You don't get any services anywhere else with healthcare, isn't it? You cannot go to Google and get medication there, or you cannot go to internet and get a degree there. But even though with that sort of like history, we are still being disrupted. Khan Academy is already so it's free, everybody's going there. So now we are being disrupted. So what we are doing now, because we don't have any money, because the government doesn't have any money, so we started with capability building. So we started with our staff, and then after that we moved from there. So that's something that we're doing in preparation so that we won't be left behind. Otherwise, the private universities are just going to overtake us.
Right? Yes. So this table is under pressure.
I think
You can.
I'm from Kenanga Investment Bank. So being the largest or only independent investment bank, we are being disrupted in the stockbroking industry. So what we did is, while we are doing our own digital transformation internally, but we know it's a long journey. So in 2016, we accelerated our digital strategy by doing a JV with Rakuten in Japan. We kickstarted Rakuten Trade. So Rakuten is our own competition because we are the largest retail broker. We created self-directed, fully virtual broker. And now in Rakuten's business, we have managed to get 78% customers which are below the age of 40, and about 42% are people who have never traded before. So before people come and disrupt us, we create our own disruption externally and do a go-to-market strategy
Fantastic.
before all our advisors die of old age.
Do something, right? Before it is too late. Okay. I can take one more comment before I continue with my talk, and we have another. Okay. Can I reserve your one, the last one? You need to start. Don't worry, I will give you the first one. The first mic, the second one.
Everyone, Robin from Khazanah. Khazanah is as most of you all know, investment holding company. And today I may not be aware of it, but I think this is one of the few industries which are further back in terms of the disruption, in the sphere of disruption across various industries. I do think in other parts of the world, probably even in Malaysia, it's beginning to get disrupted, and I'm very happy to hear any thoughts others may have had with this particular industry. Take AI, for example, taking over the portfolio manager's job. Right? I think that's a very real possibility, and I think it's going to come. Thanks.
Okay, alright. So, hope the engine warm up already. The oil already 110 degrees. So we can start running. Okay, so let me just give you a context before we move on to the next discussion number 2 about the complexity. Okay, why is that in the past our method works? Today it's very tough. Any technology initiative, what we call it today digital, right? Because the complexity is what this actually Gartner deck is about: inside in, inside out, outside in, outside out. Basically, it's endless connectivity. Okay, endless connectivity and network and everything need to be integrated. So most of us we go through the first time round, right? Then we don't know. Suddenly after we launch the system, many change requests, and we don't know how to connect to the rest of the what they call it open. If the fish is open water, the sea is open water, right? So the complexity is there. So how do we navigate this, right? It's the same thing. I think I want to connect you with like a GPS, right? Any one of you here still keep street directory in your car? Every time you want to go somewhere, open the book, flip, where is the area in Sunway? Nobody cares, right? What do you use? Digital. So now is the trigger point, of course, do we have that GPS about our enterprise? Yeah? Of course, we have done all the digitalization, right? We have tried our best. Basically, it's like some, of course, self-defense, some reactive, some proactive, or etc., like what we discussed earlier. But we have done whatever we could. But if you do a stock taking of what we have done, it will be something like this. Some is repeated, 2 departments in our organization doing the same thing, and they got many overlapping. Okay, so how do we go about avoiding this, right? Of course, this one is something that quoted from Gartner. Gartner say, of course, enterprise architecture is the gateway. Gateway means how you enter, how you can become successful in digital transformation. So I will not be talking much about this. You can do a Gartner research yourself. Yeah, and of course, some of the other perspective on the enterprise architecture by other analysts. Okay, they call it transformer. Any one of you like transformer? When you're small, nice, right? The certain robot, the car can become a robot, and everything you can transform. Okay, so how fast can we transform as an enterprise? It depends, right? So now Tony said that the fintech advantages is that they are very lightweight. They don't even have a physical bank. They can work at home. 10 people work at home, and they can run the application complete offering financial investment, and compete directly with the bank that employ 10,000 people. Cannot compete. Their cost is very low. Okay, so this is what the so-called the news out there. Enterprise architect as a digital transformer. So do we have the transformer in our enterprise? Okay, and of course disruption is there. How can we, what they call it? How can we tame, right? Tame the disruption. So EA is playing a critical role, and of course the last part is on the innovation. Innovation, I think, is the keyword nowadays. How do we innovate? Of course, when you want to be innovative, the life, they call it, come home. After I got nothing to do, I relax, and I can start thinking innovation. But if you are doing firefighting every day, forget about innovation. Talking about survival, end of day, I can just go home, in the peace of mind. I can't, right? So how do we navigate all this? So I want to share with you on this particular slide on the Airbus, right? Of course, this has nothing to do with the current scandal, the Boeing has taken place. And of course, many of the, I think they admitted finally, is software bugs. Okay, if you think about that, who's at fault? Of course, they said the business pressure. They said Airbus has launched something, the new airlines of Boeing is catching up. So they don't care. They cut development, supposed to be 6 months, become 2 months. And they launched the product, and then after that, what happened? Luckily, 2 incidents, not 20. But interestingly, nobody at fault, right? Do they bring them to court? Nothing. The programmer walked away for free. Free man, right? Actually, the code is called bugs, right? I think that when Lion Air, the first incident took place and I read the news, I commented in the Facebook that I guarantee this is software bugs. But of course, it got sarcastic comment, etc. And then, true enough, when the second incident, Ethiopian airline, then after that, Boeing admitted it's a software bugs. Then they released the patches, but nobody there to. I don't think now it's flying, right? It's still grounded. Yeah, so this is, but nothing to do with that. This is the aeroplane. It's like digital aeroplane. So all these parts are interconnected, intra-connected, and they have an intelligence to know the particular parts whether got stopped in KLIA. If KLIA don't have what is the nearest airport, Changi Airport, Hong Kong Airport, how much will the cost, part number, and etc. So we can connect all this. Can we connect our enterprise? This is million parts, thousands of suppliers all over the world can be connected like this. So can we connect our enterprise? Yeah. Of course, the next one is iPad. I think you all know. Someone need to draw this map, isn't it? You like it or not? If this one is not drawn, iPad don't work. Now our enterprise, who have this map? Depend. If you work 40 years in your enterprise, anyone here work 40 years in the same company? And every 2 years you change job, move around different department. Even you already done that. Did you remember that 20 years ago when you first landed in this company, you were doing as a, I don't know, analyst or whatever, did you know that job? Already changed. So no one knows. So how do we navigate this? You don't have the map. So this is where the complexity of the digital era. So I want to lead you into one more slide on the complexity of the enterprise, right? With this what we call it enterprise map, right? Do we have this to navigate the disruption, transformation, right? So this is something that very key, right? Most of us have this maybe this particular area by that department. This one by another department, that department, different team. Same department, 2 or 3 different teams. So how do we connect all that? Very tough. We need to run what we call it off-site meeting. Right? Sometimes we cannot fix it in the office, we go off-site somewhere, Langkawi or Bali. Okay? At the end, go there is also more and more entertainment than working. right? We are trying to understand something, but after come back, everything back to square one. Okay, so without all this navigation or map, it's very hard to make decision. Yeah. So of course, this is the concept of the enterprise architecture, but I'm not going to go through all this like a monopoly. We talk on the separate session. Now this is something about how do we go about coming up with a map. Okay, I want to introduce the concept of the meta model. Do we have the meta model of our enterprise? So of course, what's meta model? If you see the human body, the meta model means the structure of the human body, from the head, skeleton, the brain, the organ, the eyes, the nose, the throat, including the nervous system. Do we have that for our enterprise? This is actually what has been around, but nobody take notice, because if you are not in the digital era, it doesn't make sense. Okay, like the medicine, the human already around for, I don't know, if you believe evolution million years ago. Okay, but the medicine advances year on year, and they discover more and more things. Because why? After we do MRI scanning, oh, actually the body, this one, the nerves of this finger connect to what brain. So they discover that, then they can do a cure. Same thing now in our enterprise. Do we know well or not? Okay, so many of us don't have the meta model. Of course, the meta model actually is the template of the enterprise that we need to come up. But how do we model the meta model? Okay. First thing first, this is our real world enterprise, right? Human being already born in a silo, and since the small kids, we already play politics. Don't you agree? You don't believe? How many of you have more than 2 siblings or 2 kids? What happens if you buy one toy to the younger one or to the eldest one? Would the other one red? Say never mind lah. My brother get the toy. I don't need. Is there such a kid in your home? Right? Normally what happens? One you buy, the other one cry. After that, you just buy 2 of them. After reaching home, the 2 of them don't even touch it. Throw away. So the mother, the father, within 1 week, buy another toy. So the same thing now in our enterprise, right? We already designed by department. And every department got the people. And the people want to show the power. So they play what? Politics. Okay? So how do we transform it like this? Very tough. So the only thing just now is come up the meta model. And after that, we map every department without they realizing it. Right? Like the human body, everyone has a different organ. So we need to map that, the whole structure, then we study one by one. Where is the intra or interdependency? Because our system also designed like this. Then after that, we come out into the meta model, we fill up the template, then we get like a GPS, the ways of our enterprise. Then from there, we put it in the repository and we start analyzing. This is where the transformation takes place. Did you get the context? This is what Gartner has been preaching, I think. Anyone here not a Gartner subscriber? Half, I think. Yeah, but you know you have been a Gartner subscriber, then you know what Gartner provides. Right? So Gartner, I think, got the last count, I think, 2,000 from the enterprise architecture article. Actually, you can just go to Gartner.com and key in the word EA. So almost every week they release the article. Okay, the importance of this. And of course, how do we come out about that? Actually, it is by the Lego, the building block. Okay, so this actually is the argument, is the notation that for you to assemble the meta model of your enterprise. Then from there, you can make an intelligent strategic decision, transformation decision, and etc. Okay, so I will not be dealing this too much. Let me just show you a video, 2 more slides, then we go for the discussion. We got 25 minutes full discussion, so I think it should be alright. Just now was the first one only took about 5 minutes. So now you warm up already, yeah? So get ready for that. Let me just show you this short video, 3 minutes, 2 minutes plus, I think. Then we go for the discussion.
Why enterprise architecture? Well, here's a reason. Michael works at our company. Now, because of new business demands, he is in need of specific data. But his data is spread out over different applications. Exclusively for Michael, a developer writes a program that'll get his data from applications A, B, and C and write it to an Excel file in directory Y. That way, Michael will be able to read all the data in his spreadsheet and use it. Michael then realizes that he needs this on a daily basis. It would save a lot of time if the program ran automatically every day. Therefore, an infrastructure manager writes a batch job to set this up for him. Now, an application flow has been created. especially for Michael, which depends on a number of other applications. But Michael is not the only one who wants to improve his efficiency, so multiply this situation by a few thousand. We call this hairball architecture. Think of it as a huge hairball with fibres going in every possible direction. No one's keeping track of it, and no one has control over it. Now, imagine we have to replace a huge application because it's out of date and the supplier has said that in 2 years they'll stop the support. We have no idea what the application is connected to. It's an endless network of dependencies which were all created one at a time. And each connection made sense at the time, but the total is such a chaotic situation that it's impossible to change one aspect without damaging something else. Now that's where enterprise architecture
This is the Lego map.
We have to deal with the IT landscape in such a way that people have the freedom to create improvements and that there's always room for innovation. Architecture makes sure that our IT landscape is robust as well as flexible and efficient. This requires a process to keep things organized. For this reason, each new project needs a project start architecture. This is created by a project architect who is part of the project team. He or she writes a plan explaining how the total landscape will look when the project is complete. This plan includes the applications we've set up, what they do for the business, and the hardware they require. The project start architecture is evaluated by the architecture board. In this board, architects from every domain in our company work together and supervise the entire landscape. Summarized, enterprise architecture is about 3 things. We take a look at the existing situation. We help to develop and evaluate designs, and we create a sketch for the future so that everyone understands the direction we're heading. Architecture is about insight and knowledge. The world doesn't lend itself to being easily understood or pinned down in rules. There's no way we can know what the regulators are going to say to us 3 years from now. But what we can do is make choices which will ensure
the key is here.
flexible, robust, and
Ability,
efficient
just now I mentioned about meta model.
because in the end, it's all about maintaining our ability to change. That's why
Okay, ability to change is transformation, yeah.
architecture.
Okay, let me just do one last slide, then we go for the full 25 minutes discussion. So this is what the Gartner says. This interestingly is about 2019. Yeah, this is not about 2018, 2017. This is 2019. Gartner predict 2019. So Gartner is can also be called a fortune teller of the enterprise. Yeah. So they predicted, Gartner says in 2019, if those who have established enterprise architecture, they're performing the role as a management consultant. This is something encouraging, right? Because if you see all the blue chips or the listed company, they will engage the consulting, strategy consulting or business consultant to tell them what is the forecast, what is the revenue like, what is the industry outlook, etc. So the EA team should be performing exactly that role. This is something elevating our comfort. Those who have established the EA, and otherwise, let's open for the discussion. This is our final discussion, right? Where are you now? I mean your industry, right? Can you be a digital famous? That's nice. Yeah, you can control the whole thing, or you drive the digitalization and you are conqueror. You always push the limit, right? And of course, transformer. So as just now, apologize to Sean. You being cut, so now I promise you.
So, hi, I'm Sean from Petronas. So, I'm the group digital. So, probably somewhere around this year, we are moving up from, I think everyone know that previously we are the oil and gas company. Now we are moving up from oil and gas to energy and service provider due to the digital disruption. I believe, that's the from Petronas as well. So, towards digital, we are moving up from the common practices. We are not, even we are selected or partner, choice of partner, whatever thing. For our customer is that regardless of what, definitely you have other options as well. So due to this, and we need to create a digital And by last year, we have managed to close 22% from 2017 in terms of our revenue because of digital adoption. So now it's all about digital adoption, and even now it's led by, we come up with a new, because previously we known as a CIO, now CDIO, Chief Digital Information Architect or Officer. So she's transformed everything and she's combined two groups, probably Petronas ICT and Group Digital together, because we are the digital accelerator for Petronas. So that's one of the biggest initiatives due to the disruption. So now even in our organization, we create our own center for AI in Canada. So for the AI and also cybersecurity is one of the biggest in our organization at the moment because of the disruption. So we know that oil and gas is, we need to create a new sustainability in terms of our energy. So that's moving forward for Petronas. It's no longer a Malaysian company. We are the multinational or international company for all. Yeah.
Good. Good to hear that, yeah. So our oil company is doing very well. And I heard the F1 that Petronas has been championing coming back. I heard coming back next year. Okay, let's see how. Alright. Anyone? Comment? Just now that the thought that trigger your senses. I mean, the comment can also be a question asked. Okay. Yeah. Anyone have thought about this? Now warm up. Yes, Iman.
Good morning, I'm Simon from Tokyo Marine. Actually, whatever role you are in, I think transformation is not about the technology. It's about the customer experience. I'm sure many of you hear that when you bought the insurance, there's many complaints. We heard either the process is too slow, too many proposal forms to fill in. The agent, after collecting the money, they disappear. They have not called you for many years. So those kind of comments we actually receive it. So I think what we want to focus in Tokyo Marine is, as a life insurance, those we were heavily governed by Bank Negara as usual. Yeah, we can't be too innovative because there's still a lot of rules. Like recently, the cloud is just opening. So I think there are many opportunities for life industry to be evolved as a champion. But we are also actually trying to learn from other countries like China, how they do it, to actually transform ourselves. But I think our focus is still on the customer experience. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Kurt from BE, British Petroleum. So definitely it resonates with the idea. Petronas needs mentioned.
Anyone from here?
Indeed, so we're not an oil and gas company, we're an energy company. And indeed, I think if you're looking for the energy company, there is indeed a challenge of there's a growing demand for energy. We call it actually the dual challenge. So it's the growing demand for energy. And at the same time, because of climate change, the need and demand to reduce the carbon footprint. And that requires indeed real transformation of the energy business. Because let's say with the current ways of working, of the way we've operated for the last 100 years, we're not going to meet the demand and we're not going to meet the targets for climate change. So it is indeed the transformation within the company itself, using technologies. But indeed, besides technologies, indeed, it's also about people. So what do you do with, let's say, 50 or 100,000 people doesn't have to be in your company? Knowing that because of digital transformation, basically every company becomes a technology company. It doesn't matter what products or services you provide, you are driven by technology. So what you need, what every one of us needs is people, let's say, AI experts, data analysts, data scientists, whatever about apps developers, etc. And you won't find them in the market in 2 or 3 years. So the demand for those kind of skills is much higher than the supply. So basically, the only option you have is really making sure that your current staff is upskilled and reskilled to get these kind of new skills. So that means for, let's say, your CIO, you need to give your people the opportunity and the time to actually upskill and reskill for these new kind of technologies. And also experiment. So get into an agile mode of working, because you need to really fast to market. So it means it's really basically a complete transformation the way you organize as a company. especially making sure that you have the right people within your team with the right knowledge, and that requires investment indeed to train and upskill.
Very conclusive. I think based off your experience that people are the key. Whatever we do, technology we talk is the last thing. Set up the people, structure, environment. Fail fast and learn fast, and fix, and then after that move up into the next maturity. Okay, anyone else to comment? Okay. Dr. Istiana, introduce a little bit about your role
Yes, this is Diana from the government.
of Malaysia.
In digital transformation agenda that government actually leveraging is on the 4.R, but we need to move forward in terms of changes, in terms of trust. That is what the biggest hurdles right now, to build the trust in data sharing, especially public-private, and also build trust in terms of transactions. We are actually embarking on the implementation of digital ID in Malaysia, but still in early stage, the hurdles is on the trust, it's not on the technology. So I think if the public sector and also the private sector can work together to gain the trust of the collaboration between both private and also the citizen, because we ourselves is citizen, right? So if we have that to support the government, then I think we can accelerate it more on the digital forward.
Hi, good morning. My name is Krishna. I'm basically Deputy Director from the Central Bank of Malaysia, primarily in the IT industry. So my primary role is basically on software development, delivery, and also deployment. Right now, as you know, that this is an exciting time, whereby we are looking at how actually to move into this digital world. So, and we are setting up digital transformation. We already started doing that journey, I think, about 2 years ago, but we are accelerating it right now. End of last year, we're establishing the digital strategy work group, which is chaired by the governor herself, and it's basically from top down. So we know that the entire departments in the bank is required to move forward. But the challenges, one of the main challenges that we're having right now is basically the cloud. Okay, so in order to move and also to ensure that our digital transformation work, cloud is one of the infra that's required for us to be available, and also it's publicly will be able to move forward using it. So with that, what the bank have recognized that we need to move into more stringent and also having cloud as an outsourcing policy, which we're coming up, will be available end of this year basically. So we are endorsing that. And we also trying to look at data sovereignty and also how the data needs to be in country or outside. So that's one of the key, because provisioning of environment in order to move forward to set up digital environment is quite key. And as you know, the traditional way of setting up an environment is basically 6 to 3 months, which basically beats the purpose of having digital transformation and moving operationalizing digital digital first type of attitude and also culture in your organizations. Thank you.
Interesting. This is, I think, a very good progression in terms of financial space, because I think just now being quoted that typically you want to set up the infrastructure 3 to 6 months. How long does it take in the cloud? Depends. If you got all the spec, 3 to 5 minutes. Just click, save, then pay the bill like utility. In morning we talk about this, afternoon can be up. When we not in the digital, not cloud, talk about this since December. Now already May. Tomorrow May. Still not up. Why? The stock haven't arrived. The server is there to come after Raya. Good luck. Okay, when in the cloud, it's almost an instant. Yeah. So these are one of the manifestations of the so-called digital. So today, the speed is very relevant. Alright, any other comment? I believe a lot. We only have about 10 minutes, exactly 10 minutes time. Or maybe you have a question that's boiling in your mind. Don't bring it to the main conference because, no good. Just release it, unleash it here. Simon is second attempt.
Actually, I asked on behalf of CEO.
Just receive as WhatsApp, right?
Yeah. So the question is always they want the transformation to be fast and right, But when we introduce the enterprise architecture, we say we need a few months to get things organized. So then the CEO is asking how does this add value to the whole transformation, which is supposed to be fast and quick. Because we say fast to learn and learn to feel all these things, but then we have to go back and tell the board that we need to embark on the enterprise architecture journey. And we might need to stop a while because we got to make sure things are organized. How do we actually address this kind of question from CEO?
Okay. Anyone need to repeat his statement? Because now say the cloud 3 to 6 months become 3 to 5 minutes. Then you want to establish enterprise architecture 3 to 6 months the fastest. Can we bring it down to 3 to 5 minutes? Any comment from the audience? It's a valid question, right? You present to the CEO, tell you what? 4 months, 6 months to do EA? Forget it. I heard the cloud from 6 months to 6 minutes to set up the whole infrastructure. Why is taking so long? Any comment?
Yeah,
I think
mapping the meta model takes time.
Okay, I think about next time. You want
Can I say my comment? I just finished, my brother works with Saudi Telecom. My brother works for Saudi Telecom and he just sent me a book which I think is very interesting. It's called the Phoenix Project and he's telling about what are the challenges of getting things done faster. So, but inside the book is very interesting because the way we work now is like a waterfall. Even if we're doing agile, we're actually going through the circle. So it's just a modification of the waterfall when we do isolation that is faster. But now they're coming up with this different methodology. They call it DevOps or something like that. And what happens is that everybody works together, and then they're looking at deployment, maybe 10 deployment per week rather than every deployment every 6 months. The cycle, the agile cycle, takes about what 2 to 6 weeks. So what I see now is that there is a gap in terms of the competency, and that's the reason why it's being late. Because in my case, we are doing it at the same time. We are also learning. So we are experimenting and we're coming up with all sorts of problems, and then we're trying to solve that problem. And when we try to do it in parallel, that's the problem. You see. So to me, competency is very the gap of competency is the one that's really limiting us. Thank you.
any other comment? What do you want to say?
No expert in this field, but I think if a company is not very clear about what exactly it's about, and when digital presents itself, then there will be a complication. And I think that clarity is required before one can move quicker. The other thought on this is, I think digital 4IR, whatever that comes underneath all this, is nothing but a tool. Just like how fire was a tool from way before computer is a tool, etc., etc. And we need to be very clear between the tool and this subject called transformation. Both are quite different. It's good that with digital, etc., people are beginning to be a lot more open-minded and wanting to change. I think that's a big thing for the subject of transformation. The two are very distinct and separate and requires different skill sets. Please be clear about that.
I think if I can share some of the case, I think I work with Dr. Arifin. I think 1 year we try to model the hospital, took us 1 year, but after the thing up, we can change it in the minutes. Because we have the model, right? Like we have the map, we can figure it out in the minutes. If without the map, we figure out another few weeks or few months. I think that will be the answer to the Mr. CEO. Maybe you can reply the WhatsApp. So, just kidding.
I believe that digital disruption is not a technology problem, it's a business problem, right? So the problem here is we don't have enough visionaries as CEOs. So it's not that your 6 months is taking too long, it's the CEO didn't think earlier enough, right? So if he's a visionary, he would have started this project long time ago, not get up from his dream and then say tomorrow I want it, right? So if you have visionary CEOs, those are organizations that actually move ahead because they plan for the future, right? And it should be a business-driven initiative, not a technology-enabled initiative, right? So I think that's what most organizations should understand. If you want to embark on a digital transformation, it should be from the business and it should be vision. So you get your house ready for it, not expect the house to be ready for the CEO to dream about it.
That's a very nice closing statement. But don't tell to your CEO. Just keep it in this room. Okay? Alright, any other comment? We still got about 5 minutes.
Hello everyone, my name is Fazli. I'm the head consulting for IT solution. So basically, the common mistakes the organization makes when they embark in enterprise architecture is they try to do everything at once. Okay? When this happens, the architects will get overwhelmed because they don't know everything about the enterprise. Okay? Only the business owners knows about the business perspective of the organization. Only the IT knows in detail what is the IT perspective of the organization. So the best approach if an organization wants to embark in enterprise architecture is actually do something simple first. Do something simple first. Define your meta model. What is the template that constitutes the information that you require so that the organization can make an accurate decision making. Okay. Once you have that template, then only you choose where do we want to start. If you want to start from IT perspective, you can start from IT perspective. If you want to start from business perspective, you can start from business perspective, and you can do it in iteration. Because enterprise architecture is not a one-time project; it's a journey. Okay, because information regarding organization will always evolve. Okay, it can be valid, it can be accurate one day and outdated the next day. So it should be continuous and it should involve the whole organization as a whole. Because if you want to depend on architects to do everything, it will actually make enterprise architecture something that is rigid, that is outdated, because nobody knows about the details of the organization except for the people inside the organization itself.
Right. Any other comment? Well, we see. Yes. This table must put a little bit pressure because the other three table has been actively engaged. Any comment from this table?
You know me, I'm not back at 24. So if I get talking about enterprise architecture, I could be here for days, as Aaron knows. So Aaron, alright. So I am a technology and enterprise architect. I'm from SAP. I spent 2 years as an enterprise architect in Telecom Malaysia as well. And it's interesting listening to the people around the table talking about enterprise architecture, the time it takes to get going. The bottom line is that today, with hyper-connected everything, if you have more than one department in your organization, if you're buying or selling anything, you must have an enterprise architecture capability. It might only be one person, it might be 10 people, or in a big conglomerate, 100. If you do not have it, you cannot map what you have. You cannot understand how all the different parts interconnect. Without that, you will not be able to transform without risk. Risk is what kills transformation. Risk is what kills businesses, nothing else. And enterprise architecture, there are two magic words. Enterprise, that means everything in your business. The business, the people, and the technology. Architecture means describing it all. If you can't do that, you are going to be left behind. Worse, you are going to make a mistake with the transformation and you will then not exist anymore. So if you don't have it, you need it, and you need it now. And it does take time. My colleague here at the table on the right, you were suggesting that if you are starting out, start with a small project. Very good. I've seen many, many organizations do this. Start with one project, adopt a framework, set your policies, do it properly, and then expand it to everything else. That's how you can get a very quick return. So my short message is if you don't have it, you need it. Get it now. Speak to me.
Send WhatsApp, text messages, and then buy one get one free, no? Alright, any comment, other comment? We still have 5 minutes from now.
God, you said I only had 2 minutes. I could have talked for another 5 minutes.
Any question boiling on top of your head? I think I want to ask something like Simon received the text message from the CEO. Anyone want to send to your CEO? Boss, I got 2 more minutes. Any question to ask to others delegates? Any comment? Okay, while you're waiting, I think just now triggering on the artificial intelligence technology adoption in the insurance industry. I'm just sharing while you're filling up. I still ask 2 more questions before we leave this room. Has any one of you have ever got a car accident? Claim insurance, repair in the garage. How long would it take in Malaysia? Before they touch your car. You know, after the car accident, they tow the car, right? And you park in the garage or workshop of your choice. How long would it take in average before the workshop guy touch or repair your car? 2 months? Lucky. I bet 6 to 8 months. They don't do anything. Okay, I got my car accident in the past 2 times. 6 to 8 months. I put my car under the sun until the dust, the dirt covered the whole paint. 6 to 8 months. Why? Insurance process, not settled. After that, approved in the 8 months, in 2 weeks done. I can collect the car. Why take so long? This is the reality of life today. If you ever got that, so anyone got accident, the car, you better get another spare car. Because guarantee 9 months to 1 year. Depending on the car. Okay, it's taking so long. You know, in China, today, you know, Ping An is the largest insurance company. You can see the video on YouTube. Any car accident, they just use the computer and upload the photo or the mobile phone. The computer decide 95% accuracy, who is at fault and how much will it cost. So they just take the pictures, they took car, they tell you straight away how much will they cost. Then you agree on it. They straight away call the tow truck comes, and the money reimbursed directly to your bank account. So the assessment on the fly. Like just now, 6 to 8 months, 5 minutes. So while you agree on that, you check your bank account, you receive SMS. The money has been transferred to your bank account or CMB account. 40,000 of the damages, as you agree. Then you settle your workshop. 2 weeks, you can get the car repaired. Why can't we do it in here yet? I think coming up soon, because China already launching this last year. Yeah, alright. So warm up ready. I have 2 more minutes. No, 1 more minute actually. Last 2 questions or comment. Yes. Last question. I have to wait for the last question before we dismiss. Any comment? Any comment? No? I think you have something to say. We leave him aside first. So you are okay? Then if things you are really happy already, fulfilled, not only stomach, the mind, the soul, fill up already this morning. Okay, let's proceed to the our main conference, and I think thank you so much for the participation. Hope you enjoy the short session. So warm up in the morning, right? Like we do aerobics, so we do aerobics in the brain aerobics, mind aerobics instead of physical. Alright, so see you the whole of today, and do enjoy the session. Alright, thank you.
And welcome to the 2019 Cyber Attack BITAS Asia Conference, brought to you by the TAY Group and co-hosted by ISA Malaysia. And to start off the event today, I would like to invite the CEO of the TAY Group, Mr. Jeffrey Tay, to give you the welcome address. Jeffrey?
You're very kind. Well, thank you everyone for coming. So I just sorry. It's my keynote speech on my phone, so you kind of have to do everything on your phone these days, right? Just check the weather outside. It's pouring cats and dogs, and I appreciate that all of you arrived earlier. And you probably are the one that actually prepared to come to the event. You check your weather, you mitigate your risk, and that's basically what the conference is all about today. I met BITAS and ISA team very short, I think in March. And when I basically researched, we discussed what we do, there is a lot of collaboration in this. So I actually flew to KL and meet with their team. And in a way, today's conference is actually a two-side collaborate and look at both the enterprise IT, digital transformations in terms of business architecture, as well as the cybersecurity element into it. You'll see in the book itself, there's a lot of the topic itself are now spent into anything from IT networking, enterprise IT to IT security. Okay. The reason why we basically do that, as you probably already know, that majority of the conference out there or the topic that you've seen in the news is all about company getting attacked and also having better I guess risk mitigations, strategy, etc., etc. So I guess BITAS and ISA and ourselves are thinking, okay, let's just basically combine the program and then make the program more full. We actually have two floors today. There's actually a CIO roundtable going on at the same time right now. So today you basically see a lot of sessions going around, at level 3 and also in here, etc. But so that's basically the program why we set up today. But more to it is that what is cyber attack? So I personally started doing white-collar crime events starting in year 2009. And that particular time, I live in Hong Kong, so I work with a lot of law enforcement officers around the world. They're primarily doing what we call high-tech crime at that time. It wasn't cyber crime, face it that way. Mainly because people hack into a bank, they steal your credit cards, and then they spend on things that then you realize that the charges on your credit card, you go to the police, you file a report, and that's basically all very minor stuff. Not until data privacy law that really stringent comes across, the company are now basically getting sued. That's when the entire cyber crimes arena was, I guess, is paying more attention to it. And that's when the time that we basically created events called CIFIs, called Cyber Intelligence Forensic Investigations, that more investigates where the cyber incident come from, how to use intelligence to determine where the attack come from, and also how to use intelligence to look at how to better prevent the attack or measure your security or design your security. Today we actually have a lot of cyber and IT vendor at the exhibition area that provide a lot of these services, and in particularly the person that you look out, the company that you look out for, I'm not sure you know them, you probably know them already. This is Darktrace that actually provide very, very niche machine learning automations, cyber intelligence tool that could help you doing that. I don't work for them, so I'm just basically thinking that their tool are very suitable for this particular space. So 4 years after we basically designed Cyber's CIFI, we then basically moved towards cyber attack because of the company getting attacked. So who know about the, I'm pretty sure most of you does, but I'm just going to ask anyways, this Bangladesh cyber hives. Can you raise your hand? Just want to get some participation so that you know. So only two? So this particular case study drawn to me is not because it's cyber, you know. It's actually people committed crime because of what? Money, really. They just want money, right? And there's a lot of money channeling into the Philippines banks, and the whole thing itself, only the bank manager go to jail. Think about it, you know. When you're a hacker, you basically hack the entire system. SWIFT is getting involved, and you took a lot of money, and the bank manager go to jail. It's only one person, the entire thing. And that's actually very strange. So this whole thing is about money laundering or cybercrime. So cyber no longer just basically hands you information. People are looking into ways of exploit money out of it and transfer money, etc. And those sort of thing, you know, and penetrate into the financial systems that we have globally. So, you know, it basically be more sophisticated, and that's what cyber attackers have come across, you know. And the reason that this particular event, I'm going to go back again, is because with proper business architecture, enterprise IT, and IT security itself, we could prevent all of it, okay? Well, this is all coming from me. Like I say, today we have a lot of sessions. We're expecting 300 people coming. I think that's because of pouring cats and dogs, and people are running late. But without further ado, I'd also like to thank BITAS and ISA for supporting this particular event and collaborate with us to run this event as well. Thank you so much, and enjoy your conference today, and our staff is basically there to assist you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Well, to start off today's session, you know the end games. How many of you know that? Okay, that one you know. Okay, we're going to bring you another blockbuster title. Okay, it can be made into a movie. It's called When Machines Fight Machines. Okay, cyber battles and the new frontier of artificial intelligence. Now, this is not a movie. It's a real thing. It's a real life. So here to share on the cyber threat landscape and how you can navigate through them, overcoming the limitations and adopting the immune system. Okay, will be shared by Ms. Charlotte Stephen from she's a cybersecurity executive from Darktrace. She's been helping private companies and public companies, organizations to improve their cybersecurity posture. So here we have a round of applause for Ms. Charlotte. It's all yours.
Hi everyone, pleasure to be here today. I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about when machines fight machines and the new frontier of AI. Projecting the screen turned on. The threat landscape, first of all. So we're seeing increasing business complexity. So what with cloud, third-party providers, it's very difficult to define where the perimeter of the network even is these days, and so it's very difficult for security professionals to even know their network, let alone try and defend it. We're also seeing a rise in insider threats, which is a key concern for security professionals these days, as well as AI attacks, which hide and move very stealthily around the network. Can everyone hear me okay? Yeah, I might. Thank you. And as well, machine-on-machine attacks, which we really need to think about machines being responses to these kinds of attacks. So these are some of the things that we're seeing around our customer networks. So about 4 months ago, Darktrace spotted an attack on a customer network in India, and we've never seen this kind of attack before actually, and we haven't seen it again since. And this was an AI attack. So once the attacker was inside the network, they sat there very silently and actually started observing the normal day-to-day activity in this particular network. And then really started to attempt to actually blend in to the busy noise of this network and, you know, entirely try and emulate the patterns of life in this particular network. Luckily, Darktrace was able to detect this attack before it had managed to completely blend into the network. But we're sure that, you know, very few technologies would be able to spot this kind of very subtle, stealthy threat. $1 billion industry. Can anyone guess which one I'm talking about? Ransomware. We're seeing a huge rise in ransomware. It's a very easy payday for attackers. You know, they no longer need to do long data exfiltration and then go and sell that elsewhere. It's a very fast payday, and it's very difficult to defend against as well. And this creates a huge problem for, you know, security teams. There's no way to simply stop ransomware. We're seeing new tactics emerge every day, new strains, and attackers are becoming ever bolder in their claims, asking for more money in less time. We're also seeing that the ransomware is very fast moving, which makes it very difficult for those, you know, smaller and medium-sized enterprises that don't have a 24/7 security team. How are they going to be able to defend against, you know, a machine speed attack like this? We're also seeing ransomware as a service, meaning that it's very easy for almost anyone to, you know, get their hands on a sort of ransomware toolkit, which means that there are going to be more attacks, obviously. More people doing it, more attacks, more risk for everyone. Machine learning. So just like AI is a bit of a buzzword at the moment, so is machine learning. I'm sure you'll all agree that probably people talk to you about that the whole time, but it's very difficult to get right machine learning, and that's for a number of reasons. So, you know, first of all, it needs to work on all kinds of networks. It needs to deliver value immediately, and it can't just rely on training sets of data. And so what we've been able to do uniquely at Darktrace is to apply both supervised and unsupervised machine learning. And this allows our machine learning to adapt, grow, and evolve with your business. And it means we're able to constantly calculate new probabilities based on evolving evidence. Darktrace took its inspiration from biology, actually. So we sort of have this analogy with the human immune system. It's a very complex and intelligent system. It knows us very well and is therefore able to detect what is other, and it's able to continually adapt to changing environments. Our bodies expect intrusion and they respond routinely. And, you know, we instinctively know what is good and what is bad for our body. You know, that's our immune system working instinctively, and it doesn't need a software update or a database update every week or day, you know, in order to, you know, protect itself against bombs or something more serious, for example. So how do we apply this approach to our technology? Some of you, I recognise a few faces, so you may already know how Darktrace works, but I'll just let you know. So we basically install our technology into the core of the network. We then start ingesting all of the raw network traffic on the network in real time. We then apply our AI algorithms to build up what we've called a unique pattern of life model for every user, device, and the network as a whole. We're looking at over 350 metrics, actually. So that might be what time you come into the office, where you send data to, where you download things from. And looking at that number of metrics really enables us to have this very rich and granular view of what normal looks like for your network. And from there, we're able to spot those very subtle deviations away from the norm. Visibility, you know, is something that all security professionals are keen to have more of. And, you know, Darktrace, you know, wouldn't be where it is now if we weren't able to, you know, extend visibility into the cloud and SaaS environments as well. So, you know, Darktrace, I don't know if any of you have seen our user interface. If not, we've got a screen out there but it can really provide you with quite an unprecedented level of visibility. 3D visualization of what's going on with your devices anywhere in the network, and we can extend this visibility into AWS or Azure, for example, and into any SaaS environments as well, where we can monitor that unusual behavior, unusual logins or anything like that, Office 365 or Salesforce, whatever it might be. So it's really that complete network visibility, including IoT devices as well, actually. So Darktrace monitors anything with an IP address on the network and provides that better sort of oversight and situational awareness of in-progress threats. Speaking of threats, these are some of the ones that we've found to date. We've discovered thousands of threats that have bypassed those more traditional tools that use, rules and signatures and sit on the perimeter. For example, we uncovered a cryptocurrency mining operation underneath the floorboards of a London office. We've also seen a lot of IoT hacks. I don't know whether that will be surprising to you or not, and I wonder whether you will consider how your IoT devices are protected within your environments. But I'm going to go into a couple of examples now of some real-world use cases. The first of which is with an IoT device, and this is always my favourite case study because it sounds very psychotic. But this was in a North American casino customer of ours. They've recently installed an internet-connected fish tank. Why not? Sounds quite fun. It had flashing lights, it would feed the fish in the morning and in the evening. So it's very high tech. And I don't think that the casino had really thought about, it being a sort of vulnerability on the network. As soon as we installed the Darktrace device, we noticed some unusual data transfers going to a rare external destination. Now this fish tank would make sporadic communications to other company devices, and that was normal, that was in line with what other IoT devices did on the network. These unusual data transfers to a rare external destination, however, were deemed very abnormal by Darktrace's algorithms. And so, looking into it further, it turns out that an attacker in Finland had gained access to the fish tank and was exfiltrating data. So this was a clear case of data exfiltration. It was particularly interesting because the attacker had targeted a very unconventional device. But luckily, Darktrace doesn't make assumptions about where a threat will arise or what it will look like. And so we were able to detect this particular attack and help sort of prevent any subsequent data loss. The next example is a ransomware sort of case study. As I said, new strains are emerging of ransomware all the time, and it's not an issue which CISOs can afford to be complacent about. With GDPR and similar regulation coming into force around the world, it makes it an ever more pressing urgent as well. So this particular incident was in a financial services firm in Asia, and an investment associate inadvertently downloaded a ransomware file from an authentic, or what looked like an authentic email. The infected device then started communicating back to the Grand Crab ransomware infrastructure, and started encrypting nearly 5,000 internal documents. And there was a file attachment with the ransom note as well. Now, as soon as the infected device became infected, Darktrace actually detected this unusual activity and was able to respond in real time using our autonomous response capability to isolate the infected device and to stop the spread of encryption. So this is a really good example of a machine speed response to a machine speed attack. I'm sure you're hearing the words of automation at the moment as well. But if you want to keep on top of these really fast-moving machine speed attacks, machine speed response can obviously move faster than any human can, And actually the idea for Darktrace is to put the threat on hold and give the security team more time to look into the threat and then particularly take further action as well. So it's really putting that threat on hold, buying you more time, and in this case, really helping to avert a serious financial and reputational damage. This next example is a compromise in a cloud environment. Most people, customers, are moving to the cloud at the moment, and rightly so. It reduces costs, optimizes efficiency, but it does, of course, present another issue for security professionals, for security teams, and that is that there's limited control and visibility in these environments. So this was another financial services company, and they were in the midst of a project of deploying a third-party cloud software in their environment. Now, during the configuration of this deployment, one of the engineers, by accident, left one of the critical servers open to the internet when it was meant to be isolated behind a firewall. Soon after this misconfiguration, the server fell under attack, and the attacker was attempting to pivot from the server into the cloud and then back actually into the physical premises of the organisation. Darktrace detected this as soon as it was occurring, and we were able to secure the cloud perimeter before the company had even realised that there was a misconfiguration. So again, just highlighting that need to have visibility over all elements of your digital infrastructure, and in this case, making sure that your cloud environment is protected. And the last case study for today is another IoT hack. This was in a manufacturing firm, and they had several high security sort of locations around their premises, and they had gone to great lengths to protect these with physical security, and so they had installed biometric fingerprint scanners at the entrances of all of these. Unfortunately, an attacker exploited some known software vulnerabilities and was able to actually gain access to one of these fingerprint scanners. They were then able to not only access the fingerprint records already on there, but they were also able to add new fingerprint records, which does not bode well. Needless to say, this company very nearly had unauthorized personnel sort of coming into their really sort of high-risk premises. But luckily in this example, we were able to detect it, let them know, and they were able to sort of add in additional measures. Now, this particular incident, it doesn't correspond to any known attack signatures, and so it would have gone missed by traditional anti-malware solutions. It also demonstrates the synergy between physical and network premises, and the need to sort of better understand that and make sure that that synergy in itself is not providing you with another sort of attack vector, as it was in this case. So just to tell you a little bit about Darktrace before I wrap up. So we were founded at the University of Cambridge in the UK about 6 years ago, and we have headquarters in Cambridge in the UK and in San Francisco. We've grown really quickly in those 6 years, which is great validation of our sort of approach to cybersecurity. We've got sort of 40 offices globally. I work in the Singapore office, and we're sort of named on technologies sort of to watch lists and enterprise innovation, etc. So to conclude, we're really seeing a cyber arms race at the moment, and the battlefield is within the corporate network. It's clear that the current way of doing security needs to be updated. We can no longer rely on rules and signatures alone. I'm not saying that you should get rid of your firewalls just saying that you need, additional defences as well. These threats that, just came about yesterday or this morning. Dark Trace's approach is really about moving on from those rules and signatures tools and from, looking at more AI and machine learning ways to use AI detection and machine speed response for those AI attacks and machine speed attacks. Thank you very much. If you would like to see a demo, I'm doing a roundtable later, which I think some of you are coming to, but do come over to our stand in the hall and have a chat with us. And I don't know if anyone has any questions. Or...
We have time. Anyone have any questions you'd like to ask? Pass the mic.
Well, thank you very much, and if you do have any questions, feel free to come over to the stand. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Charlotte. Round of applause. Thank you. It was indeed exciting to hear what's going on in this world today with all the threats. When we're moving so fast in the technology world, okay, there's also a lot of risk. Yeah. The next, I would like to introduce ISA. ISA is a global professional body for enterprise architects. And there's chapters around the world, over more than 60 countries. And today I'd like to invite Mr. Chris Pa, who is the president of ISA Malaysia. He's also the managing director and CEO of Borderless Geek. So if you are a traveling geek, then you should be looking at him. I work with Chris on many consulting projects on enterprise architecture. He's very passionate about enterprise architecture because before you can do anything, you need to know what you have within your organization and how can you generate ROI from it. Okay, bottom line is making money. Right? Without further ado, let me welcome Mr. Chris Pa.
Very good morning. How are you today? First of all, before I start my speech, to Jeffrey Tay, the CEO of the Tay Group, Mr. Aaron Tantani, ISA Asia Pacific Chairman, Alicia Heng, the President of Gorgeous Geek, and Dr. Pu will be here shortly in the afternoon. He's also the Deputy President of GAME, which is Global AI Network Association in Malaysia. So, very warm welcome to our distinguished guests today. Very tough in the morning, I'm sure. And this year we have earlier starting time. And I really want to thank everyone to make it here today. And some of you probably stuck in the jam and also heavy rain. Yeah. And before I start, thank you very much to the sponsors. Yeah. Today we have marked another achievement in this year, 2019. We have a collaboration with, we have a collaboration with Tay Group, Cyber Attack, as well as GAME, Global AI Network Association, to make this event happen. Yeah. Without them, without the sponsors, we can't really achieve one of the mission of ISA every year, which is to make conference free for everyone every year. Yeah. Also, thanks to our supporting partner, ATD Solution, which is the event organizer, PCOM, MDEC, Mampu, as well as I personally wanted to also thank SME Corp Malaysia, who has been supporting us every year as well. Today is also a very special day that we run this event together with Cyber Attack, which sort of tells that the entire enterprise architecture in your organization actually composed of all these elements. It's not just about technology. It's not just about the software that you purchase. Yeah, it's actually about the digital capabilities within your organization. BITAS is an annual event, yeah, that ISA run every year, and is to actually educate and build, yeah, a pool of IT architects within Malaysia. Yeah, what is ISA? ISA is a global IT architect association, and ISA Malaysia chapter started in 2009, if not mistaken, and today, this year, and it's our 10th year anniversary, right? And I'd like to talk a little bit about enterprise architecture. Yeah, some of you actually asked before I pass on the mic to the next speaker. Enterprise architecture shows and describes the architecture of your enterprise. Yeah, and Sharon actually made a very nice note just now, which sparked my interest with just one word, which is called visibility. Today, you have a lot of software in your organization. You have a lot of infrastructure in your environment. You have a lot of people. You have a lot of function. You have a lot of processes. Am I right? But do you have visibility? Who has visibility? So I'm not going to ask questions, particularly to you if you say yes. Don't worry. To most of the organizations I work in, they do not have full visibility. Simple questions. How many applications do you have in your organization? For SMEs, it's very simple. 2 or 3 accounting software, HR, payroll systems, that's all, right? Or maybe a website. But for bigger organizations, they are actually more than that. And that's just one of the questions in the entire enterprise architecture. Yeah? Enterprise architecture consists of a few elements. Your business, your data, yeah? Your application and technology. And security is actually an aspect or perspective that cuts across the entire architecture. So I'm very glad today we are being sponsored to run this event together with Cyber Attack. It actually describes the entire aspect of architecture, and we have tons of events and speakers lining up today. Yeah, and I really hope you enjoy the sessions. And there are also booths in the exhibition hall together with that's where the place that you have breakfast and lunch break. Otherwise, thank you. The speakers will talk a little more about enterprise architecture. I do not want to steal the limelight. And welcome and enjoy the sessions later. Thank you very much.
You'll find out more on cyber attack. You'll find out more about enterprise architecture as we go along for those who are not familiar with enterprise architecture. For the next session, but before we move on to the next session, I'd just like to share a little bit about all these threats that's happening, having visibility, etc. What we can use for our organization that's beneficial for our organization can also be used to undermine other organizations. That means if you have visibility on other organizations, on what they do, what they have, you can exploit them, right? Let me just share a short story of what happened to me just a few days ago. Someone called my home phone number, the normal landline, and asked for me by my name and said, "You live at this address?" I said, "Yeah, this is my address, this is my phone number." "Well, somebody borrowed money and put your name as the guarantor. So if you don't tell that guy to pay up, I'm coming after you. See, they're using information that's available out there to exploit you. And how I know it's a fake, he said his sister married you. So your wife is actually his sister. But I was thinking, can't be. They are different race. I know my wife. Unless I have a second one, I don't know. Right? So just to share with you, with just knowledge, they can use that against you. So you need to know what you have, where you're having them, and how vulnerable they can be. Okay? On the other flip side of the coin, how you can take advantage of that for your own good, for your own organization. Now, for the next session, we have Mr. Aaron Tan Dani, who's the chairman, and also president of ISA Asia Pacific. He's also the chairman of the Singapore Computer Society Enterprise Architecture chapter. Okay, so he holds a few portfolio, and that's in Singapore, and in Asia Pac is ISA, so he's have a few portfolio. He's going to share with you EA Leadership Vision for 2019 in driving digital transformation and innovation. Okay, Aaron is very passionate about enterprise architecture. I'm sure if you are sleepy, you won't be. Okay, if you are, I'd like to know you personally. Okay, he will drive what you need to know. Okay, the message home. Okay, about how you can really take advantage of this. How the leadership should be focusing on this. And let me not steal the limelight, and I'll pass this time to Mr. Aaron Tan Dani. Round of applause for him. Thank you.
Alright, good morning, and thank you for coming, but I don't think you will fall asleep because you just woke up, right? 1 hour ago, 2 hours ago, okay? Alright, let me just begin on I think, this year is the most exciting year. I've been involved in the enterprise architecture in the last 20 years. Yeah, 20 years. Yeah, I started off, actually when I was doing, at the time during the Java era, that's where the so-called the architects pop up, right? I remember back then, about 20 years ago, I think Apple put, like, they call it evangelists. Then after that, Java was very, very hot, and then Java got Java Certified Architects. That was, I think, the first time I recall the architect certification, but that was in the programming world. After that involved, of course, Open Group, ISA, and etc. Okay, so now about enterprise architecture leadership in driving digital transformation and innovation. I think today, we don't call it driving a system, many projects. We don't talk about project anymore. We're talking about capability, innovation, and etc. Because that one bring value. Yeah. Of course, now I want to start with a question. I'm not talking about disruption, but we want to know about something, about your position today, your organization. Where are you? Are you able to disrupt others? So all your competitors, you just put them, tickle them, and you make fun of them. Can you afford to do that? Not sure yet. Okay, only those fintech company can do that. The one that they don't have brick and mortar, they have all the so-called internet technology company that they can tickle the brick and mortar, the big one, right? Because to perform certain tasks, they only have 10 people. Brick or mortar got 10,000 people. How you compete? Of course, the second one is being disrupted. This is where most of us being disrupted. I think 2 weeks ago, Monetary Authority of Singapore released a study that 2/3 of the financial services job will disappear in the next 5 years. Very fast. If you are now at the age of 55, I think okay lah, safe. Right? By the time you got retirement package, go home lah. Play with your grandchildren. But if you are now in the 20s, worried. Okay? How can we catch up? So that we can be relevant. Right? Otherwise we become irrelevant. Of course, the next one is self-disrupt. After we can manage the whole thing, we can start challenging ourselves. Okay, last year we achieved this. Can we do more? Can we do more? Okay? This is something that triggering the whole ecosystem on the digital transformation. Yeah? Of course, now the complexity is humongous. Right? The method that we have been using in the last 20 years, it doesn't work anymore today. Why? Because if you see the map here, they call it inside in, inside out, outside in, outside out, or inside out. Basically, it's many to many, endless connectivity, integration, inter-department, intra-department, inside and outside. So, how do you overcome this complexity? The answer is, you need to have the map, isn't it? You need to know what's going on. I need to know the whole connectivity. I need to show it in the digital way. You cannot talk anymore. Last time you can talk with client server, I know like 1 or 2 applications, I know. Now it's 1 to 1,000. How are you going to draw in the whiteboard? Oh, impossible. Right? So many enterprises are still having dilemma. How to overcome this? I think this morning we have just now have a CIO discussion. Interestingly, I think is the person here, Krishna, no, from someone from the State Bank. Then he mentioned that the management expectation in the past, when you set up the infrastructure, what is the fastest way to set up infrastructure data center? 6 to 1 year, normal, right? You have to design the whole thing, after that procure, set up, testing, everything, 6 to 1 year. Now in the cloud era, how long will it take? 6 to 10 minutes. Upward. Click here, click there, click, confirm. Enter credit card. That's it, start billing. So morning talking about the design, the whole data center setup. Afternoon, up and running. Right? If you don't use the digital approach, what happened? We've been talking since late 2017, now 2019. Even now what to do, they said, let's do it after Raya. 2 years. Right? This is the reality. Business can't wait. 2 years people can do more things already. Yeah? And of course this is another irony that we have been doing. It's not that we do nothing. We do something, but if you map it into the map, into the box, this is what happened. Many gaps, repetition, and etc. Even the same organization, right? So how can we be successful in digital transformation? Of course, we take the advice from Gartner. Okay, you like it or not, Gartner is what they call it, fortune teller of the industry, with the 99.99% accuracy. By the way, I'm not from Gartner, but that's what happened. Everybody believes Gartner is a god. Whatever they say, just listen to them. Okay, so it has been predicted that you want to be successful, go through digital, go through the enterprise architecture way. Yeah, and of course, these some of the analysts, they use the word transformer. Nice, isn't it? Anyone don't like the Transformer movie? Nice. The car can become a robot. And interestingly, got the bad robot and the good robot, right? Bad transformer and good transformer. So the same thing in the world of the enterprise. Now, how fast you can transform? That's the key question. Not saying you talk a lot. I know people can talk a lot, but how long? What is the speed to transform? Yeah. And of course, now how do we navigate the disruption so that we know when they're coming at this particular services or product, what are the things that we need to re-architect? Yeah, it's the same thing like you have the map of the house or the building. If anything on fire and you know which door to shut down, which house to secure, which window, which route to block, etc. If you have the map, if you don't have, good luck. By the time you ask someone, everything already flat. Yeah? And of course, innovation is very, very key. Yeah, this is also another Gartner on the digital disruption and innovation. That enterprise architecture can leverage on that. And of course, this is about the aeroplane, right? This is about the meta model, the structure of the digital aeroplane. You want to repair the aeroplane, you want to check particular parts, you better have the map, Because what happens when you check particular part, that part can disrupt others, So now I want you to map this back into your enterprise. Do you have that map? So if I change something, I know the impact internally, externally. Like this particular aeroplane that they know exactly which part number, whether KLI got the stock, how much will the cost, and etc. Okay? So if we can map this, why can't we map our enterprise? And of course, on the right hand side is the iPad. It's nice, isn't it? How many buttons does iPad has? Arguable 1. Of course, the side got the volume and the on-off. 3 buttons. But most of the time, you press the bottom part, right? The rest is touch screen. So have you seen behind the scene what happened? Someone need to draw this map, isn't it? If you don't know this map, how does that work? If certain functions don't work, you go repair the device. What do? They open the map. Oh, this one broken, the particular chips. I need to replace. So now for enterprise, how do we fix that? You call the departmental head meeting, right? Have you ever go to the management meeting? After they talk about half a day, nothing concluded. The conclusion is what? They need to check with their team on the ground. That's very interesting. They need to find out more on the ground. After that, the ground meeting, another 10 meeting. They still cannot switch off. Why? Because there's something that they don't know what they don't know. Okay? So the cycle is very, very long. Okay? So how do we overcome this? So this is the concept of the digital map. Right? If you can see just now the aeroplane, why can't we have this map for my enterprise? So that I know the impact from the business side, information from the services, functions, process, department, strategy, motivation, application, infrastructure, etc. How can we map that? This actually is the concept of the Lego. Remember transformer? You should be able to transform, right? So this is the real enterprise model for the map. It's something like the GPS nowadays. Any one of you still have a street directory in your car? You printed the whole Klang Valley, including Kedah, Kota Baru, everything you have in your car. I can imagine your car may be very happy, 200 kilogram on the map, yeah? And some more obsolete. The last time printed is January, now already come out to 10 road or in Kedah, you don't know. You go visit your friend, yeah? In the map, cannot be found. Right? Now what do? Handphone what? Loading the phone, they navigate for you. Okay? So, these are same thing with the enterprise today. Why can't we have that information? Instead of we keep stopping on the roadside, go to petrol station, ask the address, everybody tell a different story lah. Okay? So they got the process of how to manage that. Yeah? So I'm not going through in detail, but I want to highlight something here. How do we come out the map? Okay, so the process is this. This is our real world. Okay, you like it or not, we are already born in the era of, since we are small, we already play politics. Don't you agree? Anyone here, unless you are the only kids in the whole family lah. If you got 2 or 3 siblings, what happened? See when your elder brother got the toy. You agree or not? Never mind lah, my elder brother deserves the toy lah, I don't need the toy. Is there such a kids in your house? 2 of them are very friendly one. One buy the toy, never mind, the other one is give up. One buy, the other one cry. After that, you buy 2 of them. After buy 2 of them, reaching home, 2 of them don't even touch. Then you buy another one. That's the cycle. So, when we are small, we already trained to be playing politics. After that, we go to office, what happened? This what happened, isn't it? We are put in one department. And one department, play politics with another department. Okay? So the system is also political. Hey, this is my system, you don't touch. Okay? Everything in the silo. So if this is your actual environment, how do you transform? Mission impossible. But good news is there is a way to do this. Okay? So the way to do this is come up with the meta model. What's meta model? Meta model, if you see the human body, it's the structure of the organ. From the skeleton, to the brain, to the eyes, to the nose, to the tongue, to the throat, to the lung, everything. If you come up with the skeleton, including the nervous system, then you can start analyzing. If people say, why my finger cannot move, yeah? This is the finger, oh. They can analyze the nervous system that's controlling the little finger. Okay? If you have the map, if you have the meta model, otherwise, no meta model. Right? Like you study biology, study physics, they got the meta model. So how do we come out about this? We need to come up with the meta model of your enterprise. Just now you see the aeroplane, it's the block that you can come up. Then after that, you bring it to every aspect of your enterprise. You map them one by one. Without realizing it, they all will be connected. It's the same thing like this. You want to come up the GPS of the Kuala Lumpur. Okay? So what happens? You come up the meta model of the map. Then you bring it to Apang, you bring it to Ceras, you bring it to Kajang, you bring it to Selangor, you bring it to Seremban, Bangi, Johor, all the way to Kota Baru. Everything after that, connected. Get that message? Once that one fill out the thing, then you put it in the repository and you start doing analysis, transformation. This way you do transformation at the right bottom. Without that, how do you transform? Very tough. You transform something, you break another 10 new problems. Okay? So how do we do that? So there is of course the good news on the Archimate. They got the Lego block that you can assemble. And they got multiple colors here. They got yellow, blue, green, red, purple. All have a different meaning. The yellow mean is the business aspect. So anything you talk about the business, you can assemble them. And you connect them into the meta model. Then from there you can navigate. Okay? So with that, let me just play you a video about 3 minutes about this Lego concept in the building. Give you a very good analogy. Yeah.
Why enterprise architecture? Well, here's a reason. Michael works at our company. Now, because of new business demands, he's in need of specific data. But his data is spread out over different applications. Exclusively for Michael, a developer writes a program that'll get his data from applications A, B, and C and write it to an Excel file in directory Y. That way, Michael will be able to read all the data in his spreadsheet and use it. Michael then realizes that he needs this on a daily basis. It would save a lot of time if the program ran automatically every day. Therefore, an infrastructure manager writes a batch job to set this up for him. Now, an application flow has been created, especially for Michael, which depends on a number of other applications. But Michael is not the only one who wants to improve his efficiency, so multiply this situation by a few thousand. We call this hairball architecture. Think of it as a huge hairball with fibers going in every possible direction. No one's keeping track of it, and no one has control over it. Now, imagine we have to replace a huge application because it's out of date, and the supplier has said that in 2 years they'll stop the support. We have no idea what the application is connected to. It's an endless network of dependencies, which were all created one at a time. And each connection made sense at the time, but the total is such a chaotic situation that it's impossible to change one aspect without damaging something else. Now that's where enterprise architecture comes in. We have to deal with the IT landscape in such a way that people have the freedom to create improvements and that there's always room for innovation. Architecture makes sure that our IT landscape is robust as well as flexible and efficient. This requires a process to keep things organized. For this reason, each new project needs a project start architecture. This is created by a project architect who is part of the project team. He or she writes a plan explaining how the total landscape will look when the project is complete. This plan includes the applications we've set up, what they do for the business, and the hardware they require. The project start architecture is evaluated by the architecture board. In this board, architects from every domain in our company work together and supervise the entire landscape. Summarized, enterprise architecture is about three things. We take a look at the existing situation. We help to develop and evaluate designs, and we create a sketch for the future so that everyone understands the direction we're heading. Architecture is about insight and knowledge. The world doesn't lend itself to being easily understood or pinned down in rules. There's no way we can know what the regulators are going to say to us 3 years from now. But what we can do is make choices which will ensure that we will be flexible, robust, and efficient in the future. Because in the end, it's all about maintaining our ability to change. That's why enterprise architecture.
Okay, you see the Lego just now? This is where I think most of us don't have at hand the information. Okay, so typically that information residing in multiple departments, residing in multiple departmental head, then typically they're also not sure about their detail, right? If because the thing changes and the complexity keep increasing. All right, let me just continue with something quite encouraging. This is actually Gartner predicts of the 2019 about enterprise architecture that enterprise architecture team will evolve as an internal management consultancy. You know what's management consultancy traditionally, or maybe even now? They're typically asked to advise on the industry, on the outlook, on the forecast, on the future of our enterprise, our organization, right? And typically their rate is standard. One slide like this about $50,000 US. Regardless of any currency, they will charge in US dollar. And of course, all the listed company, blue chip company, like to hear what they sing because the song is very pleasing to the ear. right? And of course, execution is another story. But now, what Gartner says is that the enterprise architecture team will be taking over their position. Because why? Enterprise architecture team know the whole landscape of your enterprise. They know exactly what you have, what you don't have, what are the issues, because you have the map, right? Then from there, you can start advising, evolve, right? Instead of listening someone from outsider don't understand. They don't live with you. But architecture team live with you, suffer with you, happy with you, sad with you, and in the one family. Okay? So with the ability of what the enterprise architecture team or knowledge, skill, framework that available today, they should be able to advise the enterprises moving forwards. Okay? So with that, I want to share with you on the enterprise architecture role. Okay? What are the roles out there and when you call enterprise architects? Okay, so there are 5 roles here. Of course, they got the business architect, they got information architect, they got infrastructure architect, they got software architect, they have solution architect. Okay, so the names are interchangeable, especially for the information architect. People call it data architects. What's the difference? Same lah. Okay, we don't need to argue until the cow go home. Information or data is the same lah. Same thing with the software. People call it software architect, application architect. Same. Infrastructure architect, so people talk technology architect. Same. So here I'm not entertaining the debate between the two names because they got 2 or 3 organizations in the world, they're using a different name. But after you study, it's the same thing. Yeah? So let's go through first thing on the business architecture, specialization. What do business architect do? Okay? So of course, business architect create and owns business technology strategy. Nice, isn't it? Now the business architect need to know the technology strategy for the business, of course. And of course, business architect is what they call it also digital strategies. You want to come up with strategy digitally, talk to the business architect. Okay? And business architect typically have the balanced knowledge between technology as well as the business, and they understand the impact that inter or infra connect between the two domains. And business architect actually is the enterprise troubleshooter. So any issue that you come with the enterprise, you call the business architect. What do? They open the map just now. They analyze, is this caused by the people? Is this caused by the process? Is this caused by the policy? Or is this caused by not putting the right people on the job? Or this is caused by the technology. Why? Because when we do this process to that process, we need to export to Excel, we import to another system. Because why? The system is not linked. So business architects should be able to troubleshoot that, right? And of course, they look at the business capability. How can we improve my capability roadmap? Now you understand what Gartner says that architects will perform the role of management consultancy because they understand this. If you have the business architect, of course, if you don't have, then it's very tough, right? The next one is information architect. What do they do? Or data architects. If you don't like the word information, doesn't really matter. Okay. So information architect role is someone who owns the data dictionary and taxonomy governance. So they know all the connectivity in the entire enterprise. Right? They know what are the data source, how you need to present the data to the business, how the business can use or leverage the data for decision making. Okay? And the second role of the business data architect or information architect is that he or she is an information strategist. Of course, at this juncture, I want to touch a little bit on the data scientist because I think the debate has been going on and on. Data scientist is a very powerful role. Okay, so data scientists typically take the blueprint of the information architect and then they execute. Okay, they know exactly how to connect, using what technology, which platform, what are the interfaces. This data scientist job. But information architect connect the whole enterprise and they know which are information strategies for which particular department. And another thing, you see the second comment, second word there they highlighted the word business. What does it tell you? As an information architect, you also need to perform the role of business architect. That is tough, but no choice. If you cannot perform the role of business architect just now, you don't call yourself an architect. You can call it data scientist or principal data scientist or chief data scientist, but you don't call it architect. Because architect need to master the role of business architect. You understand the strategy, you understand the motivation, you understand the linkages, you understand the impact, you understand all the enterprise troubleshooter. Okay, so this is the demand expectation if you call yourself as an architect. Yeah, And the last point on the information architect is that it's an information troubleshooter. Okay, and they know all the potential data inconsistency that may impact business decision making. Okay, that's the job of the information architects, which is very critical. Yeah, and every architect, as just now I mentioned, need to be. If you are not a full-time business architect, you need to be able to perform the role of business architect. If you're a software architect, you need to perform the role of business architect. No other option. Okay? Have you ever thought, in most of the cases, yeah, I come across those so-called C-level, right? How to become C-level, yeah, in the organization? Is it tough? Very tough, trust me. Especially the organization in the few hundred or few thousand. Only one C or what? How many C you have? Got A, B, C, D? No, only one C. It's not vitamin C. C, chief. Only one, right? Especially CIO, Chief Digital Officer. How do you climb to that role? I've read through a couple of the CV. Most of them, yeah. Most of them at that level, typically they have a degree in the computer science. I'm talking about general, yeah. And after that, along the way, they have degree in MBA. Why they need to take MBA? Why they need to take MBA? Because to switch their mind to understand the business. And from there, they look back at the technology, how that impact the whole enterprise. Then you can go up to the top. Right? Or they have somehow exposed into the business that they have a keen interest. If those who are keen with the technology itself, you cannot become the chief. The most you become what? The geezer. Or they call it nerds. Cannot even talk to people, right? So these are the typical challenges on the career path for IT. Yeah. So let's move on into software architecture specialization. What does software architect do? Of course, they understand the whole application component and connectivity. That is the keyword, yeah, connectivity. They know exactly the whole landscape of the application, and they come up with the roadmap, you know. By next year, I need to, what they call it, removing the shadow system. Shadow system means the system that are not supposed to be there, but were there and used widely, and how can I manage that to become an enterprise platform? So this is the job of the software architect. It's very demanding, yeah. And of course, application strategies and also application pattern to support the business. Again, as a software architect, you need to perform the role of business architect. So if you claim yourself as an architect, we go into the business meeting, you should be able to carry yourself. Understand all the business jargon, terminology, and the impact. Okay? If you are a business architect, but after that, you talk about the business meeting, you say, can I send my boss? Because I'm not so sure, etc., then you don't call it architecture. Okay? And the next one, of course, application troubleshooter. Then understand the business process flow. So they know this process to that process, which system that they need to flow the information. All the job of the software architect. So all these are very key. Yeah? The next one is infrastructure. So what is the job of the infrastructure architects? Of course, they own all the name, all the terminology or the jargon in the data center. Right? Network topology, compute environment, to ensure business continuity, that's it. If business don't continue, you call the infrastructure architects. So the infrastructure architect need to know the business in depth. Need to perform the role of business architect. Right? Then the second point is, of course, technology strategies and understand the landscape to support the business. That's it. They create the whole infrastructure. They understand the whole business growth, business challenges, business solution, capability, etc. And they decide the whole landscape environment to support that. Yeah. So this is also another issue that many of us, typically, the people performing the infrastructure have a limited knowledge on the business. That's why the architect itself forces you to become a business architect. Okay. And of course, the last one is the technology troubleshooter. And understand the technology disruption, basically continuity, uptime. Right? This is the job of infrastructure architect. And the last role is solution architects. Yeah. So solution architect is the one that architect you put inside the project. I repeat, yeah. Don't use the word solution architect that you see in the current business cards. Most of the business cards today, when you claim yourself as solution architect, basically you are salesman. Okay, you do everything, you provide entire solution end to end. But the one I'm talking here, solution architect, is the one architect you put inside the project. So if the project 8 months, you put the guy there 8 months. You assign into the project solution architect. So they know the system implementation governance, and they know all the deploy development, system development, implementation to support the business. Again, the solution architect need to perform the role of everyone. Everyone, yeah? Not only the business. He need to know what data architect is doing. Data architecture can read, application architecture, technology architecture. Then you turn it into a solution. Solution is where you work very closely with the vendor. Microsoft, Oracle, IBM, etc. It's the job of solution architect. Okay? And of course, it's a system troubleshooter. And of course, understand the system being implemented to support the business. Okay? Let me just do my second last slide. Yeah, about this is ISA engagement model, right? So the middle part is all the architects playing a critical role. So I have gone through just now the role, roughly know the job, and now the highlight is that every architect, if you are not a full-time business architect, you need to be able to perform the role of business architect. Otherwise, architecture has no value, no business value, yeah. So this is architect mandate. You need to deliver value. You need to have a coverage. You need to deliver quality. You have a so-called increased maturity, right? And of course, the outside part is the nicest part, where the organization want to transform. Yeah, we talked about just now the question talking about top leadership transformation. You are the leader in transformation, so everybody look up at you. So how do we become this? And of course, the center part is architecture team need to be strong inside. So like the balloon, yeah, got the air, strong, right? So then you can do top leadership transformation. Then you can also drive change, customer change. Because today in the digital era, customer expectation is very, very high. They expect things to be very instant and easy. They want it self-service and etc. And the next one, of course, skill set transformation. Because we have gone through so-called now in the era of transition. Yeah, we need to transform ourselves to become digitally relevant. Otherwise, we become irrelevant. Okay? Those of you who are here above 60, you can make yourself irrelevant, right? Tomorrow can become a grandchildren, you become a grandparent. I hear this topic. I think I decided this afternoon I declare myself as a retiree. Can, if you're above 60. But those who are in the 20s, 30s, or early 40s, you better buckle up because we need to transform ourselves because the future job are changing, right? And of course, information transformation is very, very key. We need to drive that, and operating model transformation, and the last one is digital business transformation. How fast we can change that? Of course, the key is that if you have the map, you know how to assemble the Lego, you can transform your enterprises faster. Yeah. So my last slide is actually the message of the ISA president, Paul Price, about ITABOK 3.0. You know what's ITABOK? Arti architecture bukan omong kosong. BOK. Bukan omong kosong. Correct. It's body of knowledge, right? It's in the context that I've been involved in the BOK in the last, I think, 10 years. Whatever that we do, right, until we do it right, actually documented in ITABOK. So why do we want to waste time? Because ITABOK is a collaborative effort, developed in the 2004. Now it's already 2009. So already this year is the launch of the ITABOK version 3, which is more enterprise ready. Okay, later you see the video from Mr. Paul Price. ITABOK 2.0 is good for architecture team. But you want to talk about now just the network, you need ITABOK 3.0. So will be launched in Singapore in August this year. Okay, so after that we're rolling out to Malaysia after that. Okay, let's listen to the it's just a 2 minutes video by Mr. Paul Price.
IBOK started out as a compendium of skills, right? So the original IBOK was what are the 5 pillars? What are the 4 specializations? What do you have to know to be able to do them? How do you learn what you have to know to be able to do them? So that's the origination of the IBOK, and it happened 10 years ago, and we've done different versions since then. From there, though, we began to extract a method of practice, one that was very practical and that worked with an individual and teams of up to about 15. So our original IDABOK version 2, if you will, was about a team of 1 to 15 architects and the kind of basic things they needed to be able to do well. Business cases, architecturally significant requirements, architectural decisions and decision management, value capture, benefits realization, design trade-off analysis, quality attributes, that kind of stuff. The latest data block actually expands that to kind of an enterprise grade quality in the sense that it captures the skills architects need, their career path, what they have to learn to grow each of the skills individually, but also how to grow them in a team of 50, 100, 250. One of our organizations that's adopting it right now is 500 architects. So we're really building out a practice that works at the same scale as something like a SAFE or a TOGAF or a COBIT or an ITIL. What it is, though, is actually a set of practical techniques, so canvases, what we call cards, to be able to do a lot of these architectural initiatives, but to do it in a digital transformation focus, right? So focusing on digital businesses, digital customers, digital employees, and digital operations in such a way that all of those pieces work together, including things like business architecture, information architecture, infrastructure architecture, and to do so in a value generation, on a value generation basis. So it answers critical questions about practice in a very, still a very practical way, but in a way that scales up much better.
Alright, I think I end my presentation. And yep, thank you for your attention.
Well, thank you, Aaron. It was certainly very, very intense. How many of you, your heart is still racing? Okay, he's talking up here and you guys are going like full pace, keeping up with him, right? Okay, take a deep breath, relax. Yes? Do you have a question for Aaron, is it? Oh, okay.
I would like to ask if the presentation slides for today will be shared with the
Oh yes, very good question. We don't have a prize, but thank you for reminding. Yes, the presentation slides will be shared. Those slides that has been agreed that can be shared will be shared because some because of IP and all that. Yeah, but how do you get that slide? Good question. Now, in a while, just before lunch, I'll tell you how you're going to get that slide. Okay. You need to indicate that you require that slide. We'll give you a QR code. Go to that site, enter your details, and indicate your intention of wanting that slide. Okay? Now, without further ado, right, what we're going to have here is a panel discussion where you will hear different views, opinions on enterprise architecture, and they are from the industry. Okay, they're not from any organization and all that, but they are people who are handling it, doing it, and let's hear what they have to say. Before that, I'll just do a little bit of housekeeping.